Jawai is unlike any other place in India. It is not a national park nor a wildlife sanctuary. It is a land where humans and leopards have shared space for centuries, bound by an unspoken understanding. Leopards do not hide in dense forests. They live among these rocks, coexisting with the robbery herders who have roamed these lands for generations. This land belongs to both man and beast. The robbery herders believe the leopards are sacred protectors of their gods. Perhaps that's why this is one of the few places where leopards and humans coexist without fear. This journey began in 2018 as an idea of fascination. Now in December 2024, it has become a reality for Indian landscape and wildlife photographer Rahul Sood. He was accompanied by his son Mehul in this trip. Jawai is a world of its own, where the earth seems untouched, where silence speaks louder than words. The hills sculpted over millions of years hold secrets beneath their rugged beauty. It is a land of leopards, but they reveal themselves only on their own terms. Tourists scan the rugged terrain of Jawai with anticipation in their eyes. The photographer captures the pulse of Jawai. Buffaloes crossing the reservoir in the breathtaking landscape. The driver takes the photographer to a cave which was believed to have been used by leopard. The waiting game began. However, the leopard did not oblige. After a frustrating wait of over an hour, the driver changed the location. And with it, luck changed slightly. The driver suddenly gestures toward the thickets ahead. The engine quiets and the passengers hold their breath. The camera lens focuses. A pair of golden eyes flickers through the dense foliage. A brief glimpse of a leopard. A spotted phantom blending perfectly with the wilderness. Then just as quickly as it appeared, it vanishes behind the bushes. The first sighting was fleeting, almost unreal. A promise that the land holds more, but only for those patient enough to wait. As the Jeep stands still, its occupants waiting in hushed anticipation, the air is thick with expectation. The camera lens lingers on the landscape. Ancient boulders, their smooth surfaces bathed in the fading amber glow of the setting sun. The silence is broken by the sudden rustling of leaves. On a nearby rock, a couple of langurs scamper down the hillside, their long tails trailing behind them. Something has disturbed them. Movement in the treetops, a sign. Langurs do not flee without reason. Somewhere in the shadows, the unseen predator watches. The Jeep falls silent. The camera scans the dense undergrowth, searching. Every rock, every crevice seems to hold a secret, but the leopard remains a ghost. The langurs scaled the towering rock, seeking both refuge and a vantage point. Perched at its peak, they remain vigilant, with a few standing guard, eyes scanning the terrain below for any sign of the lurking leopard. A sliver of the moon emerges, casting a silver glow over the land. The waiting ends, not in disappointment, but in acceptance. The leopard has chosen to remain hidden tonight. Rahul adjusts his camera eyes, narrowing as he finds another story to tell. As the moon rises up from behind the horizon, Rahul asked Mehul to walk into the frame. It made for a nice composition. Man, moon, and the mystery in between. As dust settled over the quiet village, the search for the elusive leopard intensified. The driver and experienced tracker carefully maneuvered through the uneven terrain, scanning the fields for any trace of the big cat. The villagers had reported multiple sightings, their anxious whispers fueling the urgency of the mission. The night air was thick with tension, then a sudden rustle in the undergrowth. Eyes glowed in the darkness. The driver froze. The leopard stood barely 12 feet away, its powerful frame silhouetted against the dim moonlight. For a moment, time seemed to stop. Then with a swift, fluid motion, the beast melted into the shadows. With the first light of dawn, the party returned to the same fields. The tension of the night had given way to the gentle stirrings of the forest. Peacocks, too, were starting their day, their iridescent plumage glistening in the golden sunlight. Their calls echoed through the fields, a stark contrast to the silence of the previous night. The hunt for the elusive predator was far from over, but the jungle had come alive once more. The day dragged on with little to report. The sun climbed high, casting long shadows over the rugged terrain. Langurs lazed on tree branches, peacocks foraged in the underbrush, and the occasional spotted deer moved cautiously through the landscape. The anticipation of another sighting kept the team on edge, but the hours slipped by uneventfully. As the first light of dawn kisses the land, the guardians of the wild awaken. The Indian peafowl, resplendent in its iridescent blues and greens, greets the morning with quiet elegance. Their feathers catch the golden glow, turning each one into a shimmering jewel. With the rising sun, the resident birds of Jawai begin their daily rituals. The bulbuls, minas, and greater kukal chatter among themselves, exchanging morning greetings. Each call, each flutter, adds a note to the morning symphony. The tranquil waters of Jawai, fed by seasonal rains, serve as the lifeblood of this region. They mirror the heavens above, holding within them a world teeming with life. As winter grips the lands far to the north, travelers from distant shores seek refuge in Jawai. Migratory birds arrive in great numbers, drawn by the promise of warmth and sustenance. For these visitors, this sun-drenched sanctuary is a safe haven, a place to rest, to rejuvenate, before their long journey begins anew. Here in Jawai, life is dictated by the rising and setting of the sun, a cycle as old as time itself. And as the day unfolds, the symphony of nature plays on, uninterrupted, eternal. In the heart of Jawai's wild terrain, a massive crocodile basks in the golden sun on the grassy banks of Jawaibandh. Its rough, scaly hide contrasts with the soft green blades, its eyes half closed yet ever watchful. The stillness of the moment is deceptive. One flick of its tail, and the silent beast would vanish into the shimmering waters, leaving only ripples as proof of its presence. its piercing eyes, its relaxed yet powerful stance, felt straight out of a National Geographic documentary. Cameras clicked in hushed reverence, but the true magic of the moment was beyond any lens. Then just as suddenly as it had arrived, the phantom vanished into the twilight, leaving behind nothing but racing hearts and an unforgettable memory. As evening approached, the golden hues of sunset began to paint the granite hills of Jawai. The air was still thick with the weight of expectation. Then, just as the last light threatened to fade, a silent figure emerged from the wilderness. The chill of the early morning air brushing against his face. The sky slowly lightened, the first golden rays of the sun kissing the rugged Jawai hills. Mist clung to the valleys and the forest stirred awake with distant calls of peacocks and langurs. Then as he rounded a bend, he witnessed a scene straight out of a wildlife documentary. A leopard feeding on a fresh kill. It was perched atop a rock, its powerful frame silhouetted against the soft amber glow of the rising sun. The golden light filtered through the sparse vegetation, highlighting every detail. The sleek muscles beneath its rosette-dappled coat, the rhythmic motion of its jaws tearing through flesh, the raw power of a predator in its element. For a moment it paused, its piercing, honey-hued eyes locked onto the photographer, radiating an untamed intensity. Time stood still. The air was thick with awe and reverence. Then, as if aware of its audience, the leopard put on a show, licking its blood-stained paws, shifting its weight with effortless grace, and glancing around before resuming its meal. Cameras clicked furiously. The visitors were blessed witnessing nature at its purest, raw, wild, and magnificent. The phantom of Jawai had given the sighting of a lifetime. The first light of dawn paints the world in hues of amber and gold. The jungle is waking up, its denizens stirring from their nocturnal slumber. Distant bird calls echo through the trees, but all eyes are fixed on a single figure. The master of stealth, a ghost of Jawai's. There, sprawled across a rock, is a leopard. The rosettes on its golden coat seem to shimmer under the dappled light, blending effortlessly with the mottled shadows. It is the perfect camouflage, honed by millions of years of evolution. But right now, the cat is anything but hidden. It is feasting. The fresh kill appears to be a calf. Its lifeless foot tells the story of a hunt that unfolded in the dark hours before dawn. The leopard's powerful jaws rip into the flesh, its muscles flexing with each deliberate bite. There is no urgency, no sign of greed. This is a creature entirely at ease in its domain, an apex predator that has earned the right to take its time. A soft breeze carries the scent of fresh blood, but the jungle remains still, watching, waiting. The scavengers, hyenas, jackals, and opportunistic vultures must bide their time. They know better than to challenge a leopard in its element. With a single flick of its tail, the cat asserts its dominance. Rahul shifts from his position and is artful not to make a sound. The privilege of witnessing such a moment is a rare one, a gift from the wild. His pulse quickens, not from fear, but from an overwhelming sense of awe. This is nature at its rawest, unfiltered, untamed, and breathtakingly beautiful. The leopard pauses, lifting its head. Its piercing amber eyes lock onto mine, and for a fleeting second, time stands still. There is no fear in its gaze, no hostility, just a quiet acknowledgement of another presence in its world. And then, just as effortlessly, it resumes its meal, unbothered by everyone's existence. The photographer exhales slowly, absorbing every detail, knowing that such encounters are fleeting. The leopard will finish its meal, retreat into its cave, and vanish like a whisper in the wind. But this moment, this blessing, will stay with him forever. Nature has a way of reminding us of our place, of our insignificance in the grand scheme of things. And today, as we watch this magnificent predator revel in its solitude, we are humbled. The jungle never fails to astonish, and the leopard, the ghost of Jawai, remains its most mesmerizing enigma. And after a few minutes, it entered its den. The show was over. As the sun dipped below the rugged hills of Jawai, the sky transformed into a breathtaking canvas of fiery hues, deep orange melting into crimson streaks of pink, blending with twilight blue. The granite formations, ancient and unyielding, stood in silhouette against the glowing horizon, their contours softened by the fading light. The waters of Jawaibandh shimmered like molten gold, reflecting the final whispers of the day. A gentle breeze carried the distant calls of peacocks and the occasional chatter of langurs settling in for the night. The wilderness, which had thrilled the father-son duo with its raw beauty and untamed spirit, now stood still, basking in the serenity of dusk. The phantom of Jawai had graced them with its presence, a dream fulfilled in the most spectacular way. As darkness crept in, a silent promise was made to return, to once again feel the pulse of this land, to chase the golden light, and to witness the elusive spirits that roam these hills. Jawai had left its mark on these souls. This film is dedicated to Rahul's mother, Mrs. Manor Masood, whose unwavering support and love have been an integral part of his photography journey. Through every frame, every captured moment, her presence is felt, guiding, inspiring, and shaping the artist he has become. Under the vast starlit sky of Jawai, with hearts full and memories etched forever, he bid farewell for now. But the call of the wild will bring him back again.